On our way to Nashua. Looks like we got a little angle here on our camera. It's a beautiful early May day. Let's make sure we're straight. There we go. So this is Route 113. Goes east and west through Pepperell. I guess this kind of gives you an idea of how suburban or outer suburban we are. Not too many straight roads in this state, that's for sure. Here's our speed indicator sign. Community church on the left. Looks like it's a sale going on there. Our town hall is here on the right. And it's a very big old building. 3 stories tall, but they only use the first 2 due to ADA regulations. Right there on the right was our library. And as we come into the downtown area, so to speak, here, this area, this section is the historic district. There's a lot of houses, rather old, along here. And here is the Pepperell Rotary, where Route 111 and 113 come together. Normally I would just turn left here to go to Nashua, but I'm going to show you downtown Pepperell. So straight on 113, there's the hardware store on our right. The police and fire building is on the right here. It's the old Shattuck School. Shattuck is an old name in town, so to speak. On the right here is Donnellan's, a small supermarket. And further right along here to the left is the old railroad station for one of the 2 train lines that used to come through Pepperell. Then we got your usual banks, and this here on the right is Dulce Italian Grill. They're good. They came in best use of an old Bank of America building I've ever seen. On the left here, sort of a plaza with a laundromat and so forth. Dunkin' Donuts is on every corner, it seems, in Massachusetts, and here is the same. We're about to cross over the Nashua River here. This little building used to be part of a mill complex, but on our right here is the dam, and the dam holds the water back so that to our left there's a pipe that goes to a hydroelectric power plant. And then next to that river there, before we crossed over it, on the left was where the old mill complex was. They tore that down. And here's the downtown area. On our right, past these cars, is a rail trail. This is the other train line that came through downtown Pepperell. This train line went straight into Nashua. The previous train line went up to Hollis and terminated somewhere along there. This is a T intersection in town. I'm going to turn off of 113 here, and we'll go take a look at the covered bridge. This is the third covered bridge, I believe, in town, in this spot. The original covered bridge from the 1800s was replaced in the 1960s and was kind of a half steel, half covered bridge. This is a full-on replacement wood bridge that they built just a couple short years ago with wood beams holding up the roadway even, but it's laminated lumber. It's heavy duty. You can see the structure. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. That stream that we just crossed is the Nashua River, and so we'll cross it here again as I turn right to get ourselves towards Nashua. This is a new bridge crossing the river here. Now, one of the treasures of Pepperell that you don't get to see too often, I'll just cross 111 here. We'll go take a look at Doc Davis ice cream. They really have good ice cream. And they are right on the corner of Route 122. Well, it's not 122 in Massachusetts, but it's 122 in New Hampshire. It comes south into Pepperell. And this road here, which I'm not sure what the name of it is. Fun details in Massachusetts roads half the times aren't labeled. There's Doc Davis ice cream. Looks like they are not open at the moment. No, yeah, they're closed. But we could take a look at their menu real quick here, and you can see quite a selection. Oh yeah, can't wait for that to be open. Mill Street is the name of this street that we just came up. Why the Mill Street? Because there was a paper mill there. Plain and simple. Alright, we'll turn around, go back down Mill Street, and get back on our way onto 111 that goes northeast into Hollis and then Hollis, New Hampshire, and then Nashua. Mill Street going that way towards the covered bridge. We're going to turn left here and go on 111 north, so to speak. So Pepperell's a cute little town. You know, ice cream stand, you got a couple small restaurants, a couple small businesses. Chevrolet dealer just turned into a used car dealer. The Pepperell Senior Center is just on the right there. We have a community center as well. We have an industrial park. And as we go north here in Pepperell, says it. Skydive, Pepperell. And there's the plane. A high-wing plane that they use. So I'll just take a quick drive through here, show you what they got. Bit of a dirt road, no big deal. But they have a little jump school. Seems like some non-permanent housing here, so to speak. And they got Skip's Drop-In Cafe. Got the jump school. And there's the airport. It's a paved runway. Not very wide, though. Not very wide. The plane they got can barely fit on it, and if you have anything bigger than a little Cessna, you might want to land at Nashua Airport. That's got a nice giant concrete runway. But I've had friends land their little Cessna here. Flew in for the weekend. Works great. Here's an old big house connected to the barn. Old farm. I think it's more of an apartment house at this point. It's probably 7,000 square foot house there. And we're back on 111 North. And we are quite literally about to cross into New Hampshire in about a quarter mile. Excuse me, we cross into Hollis, New Hampshire. And there we are. How exciting, right? So, if I can angle this a little bit, there's trailer homes on our left here. I think it's Jensen's Park. I love how they have welcome to New Hampshire along with the French version of welcome. Personally, I feel the roads are much better here. You got shoulders, it's smoother. Looks like we got a lot of cyclists out today. It's a beautiful day for that, for sure. What I'll do, usually I turn right there to go on 111A to go to church. I'll take 111 all the way up to Route 3. A little bit of a straighter shot. Part of this road, they repurposed that old rail line that I mentioned was part of a rail trail in Pepperell. That rail line sort of came through here, and they repurposed it after the 1940s into a straighter road, really. If you look on maps, you can kind of see where there's a parallel road that kind of winds along, and then this is more of a straight shot. Obviously, they had to widen it, flatten it out to make it into a road, but that's what they did. It doesn't entirely, the old rail line doesn't entirely follow where this road is, but probably half of it. crossed into the city of Nashua already, so to speak. Nashua is a city of 87,000 people. A lot of it kind of looks like this, and then there's much more dense areas downtown. The highways loop around the downtown, though, and there's a massive mall area. That's where we're headed. So, important trivia fact, New Hampshire is one of the only states that has no sales tax and essentially no income tax. They charge income tax on dividend income, a couple other small things, but if you live and work in New Hampshire, you just got yourself a nice 5+% raise over living and working in Massachusetts. Do they pay as much up here? Maybe, maybe not. It's like the brightness of the day is darkening anything that's not the sun or the sky. Closer to Route 3 here, of course, 111 widens. 111, the road, continues on straight into downtown Nashua, crosses the Merrimack River, which is a big river, and then continues all the way across southern New Hampshire over to Salem, New Hampshire. Now, for us to get to our mall, we're going to turn right here and then left onto the highway. So that right turn where I said 111A was, it also comes up to here, but 111 straighter. So, trivia fact is that Route 3 comes from, Massachusetts up into New Hampshire as a highway. The highway continues, but in Nashua, Route 3 then splits off and becomes a side road, and what's called the Everett Turnpike is the main highway that goes up to Manchester and Concord, and then that joins up with I-93 at some point. North of Manchester, just south of Concord, New Hampshire. So, if somebody says follow Route 3 into New Hampshire and go all the way up to I-89 or something like that, make sure you follow Route 3 to the Everett Turnpike and stay on the highway. Don't jump off and follow Route 3 because it becomes a side road. Anyway, this was widened, I guess, back in the late 90s, this portion of the Everett Turnpike. And it never backs up. It's nice. backs up pretty well, even a couple hours before rush hour. Now the only funky part is we have to take a left exit off this road. So we're going to take an exit off this highway onto the DW highway. DW are initials standing for somebody's name that I cannot recall at the moment. And South Nashua is where all these malls are. So behind us is downtown Nashua. The highway loops around it, as I mentioned. And this portion here where the traffic lights start, this is South Nashua, so to speak, where essentially all the malls are. Strip malls and whatnot. Car dealers. Thankfully it's early enough in the morning that it's not too bad. This bridge over here, they about 15 years ago built an extra highway, so to speak, to cross the Merrimack River. There's terrible congestion, and so they were going to make a circumferential highway around Nashua. That never really happened, but this one is the southern part of what that was supposed to be, and that gets you across the river to Route 3A, which drops down from there to Lowell, Mass, or north on the east side of that river to Manchester Airport. In the last 2 years, they added a new crossing north of Nashua and south of Manchester, New Hampshire, to specifically service that airport. And that's about 5 minutes off the travel time easily. And probably alleviates a lot of cross river congestion. So they pretty much doubled the number of bridges across the river for a 20-mile span just in the last 20 years. This here on the left is an old graveyard, and it says in memory of Revolutionary heroes and so forth, so that graveyard dates to the 1700s. This area known as Nashua used to be called Dunstable, and the area of Dunstable extends across the border into Massachusetts. in the 1700s, when they were laying down the exact line of where New Hampshire versus Massachusetts was, it kind of split Dunstable in half. So the northern part, they renamed it to Nashua. But for a short while, there was Dunstable, New Hampshire, and Dunstable, Massachusetts. So while a lot of these malls here are strip malls, further up on the left is an indoor mall, and that's where we're headed. And this area is so car heavy, it's rare to see pedestrians. Frankly speaking, what they call a sidewalk here is a joke. If it's 1.5 feet wide, I'd be surprised. Certainly not suitable for wheelchair access or anything like that. In the winter, when the snow piles up, they don't even bother clearing the sidewalks because just about nobody uses them. Those that do, well, they suffer. So this is certainly a classic example of suburban sprawl, auto-centric development, minimal consideration given to pedestrians, no mass transit. Well, Nashua has a bus system. I shouldn't say no mass transit. But realistically, not a lot going on that way. We'll turn into the mall over here. And get ourselves inside. This is the Pheasant Lane Mall. Not sure why they call it Pheasant Lane, but there it is. One nice huge expanse of asphalt and automobile based